Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about progressive overload, what, when, and how. I got this question on my Massive Iron Facebook group. I want to dive into it today. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do, and click the notification bell so you can see my big, hairy, ugly face. All right. So over on my Massive Iron Facebook group, I got a question from Julian, a viewer, and he said, video idea, progressive overload, what, when, and how. I posted a bunch of links. I've made a bunch of videos on this topic. Really, you can check out my book, Massive Iron, to see what I think about progressive overload for lifters during their first couple of years. But let's establish what progressive overload is. Progressive overload is basically the process of doing more tomorrow than you did today, doing a little bit more over time than you did today. Now, what's going to happen is if you go into the weight room today and pick up a weight on curls, say 20 pounds, you're starting with 20 pounds or 25 pounds, and you perform it for 3 sets of 10 over the next 3 to 4 weeks, your body will probably respond to that new challenge because it's a new challenge. It's a progressive overload. It is something you didn't do before. That is the nature of progressive overload. You can probably do that for 3 to 4 weeks. Your body will adapt, and then your body will handle this new challenge with ease. There'll be no further challenge and no more incentive to grow, get bigger. So at this point, if you don't continue to further challenge yourself, you're going to stagnate. You're not going to get a lot out of your workouts. Now, if that's all you want is a base level of strength and just a trivial amount of muscle mass, then you don't need any further progressive overload. But if you want to get beyond the average bro in the gym and pack on a lot of muscle, pack on a lot of strength, then you need to find a way to progressively overload while staying healthy. And that's a big caveat, but something we need to consider. Now, progressive overload over time can involve many strategies. It can involve a linear addition of weight or trying to add 5 pounds on every lift over time, or it can involve something that I push and I believe in, which is auto-regulated progressive overload. There's many, many ways to do it. I'm going to explain to you what linear progression is, and then I'm going to explain to you what my progression method is. Linear progression is basically trying to add 5 to 10 pounds onto the big lift every week. A newbie will go into the gym on a basic program. They'll start out with bench press, say 95 pounds for whatever, and they'll try to add 5 pounds every week. On the squat and deadlift, they'll start with a minimal weight and they'll try to add 10 pounds every week. And you know what? This will work really well, but for a limited amount of time, because at its heart, at its core, progressive overload is not linear. So using a linear method is rather arbitrary. And even though it can work, we need to understand that progression is rarely linear. It's never linear for everybody. It will stop, and then we have to make some kind of adjustment. Now, I prefer to use an approach called auto-regulated progression. And there are benefits from this. Auto-regulated progression is basically when you set a goal on a set and you push yourself hard, and when you get to that goal, then you add weight. So when you reach your goal, then you add weight. When you reach your goal, then you add weight. Here's the way it works. All right, you push a set for as many reps as possible, stopping a set when you feel like you might fail on the next rep or when your form is going to break down. So basically, you're pushing a set to the limit, but safely, only with good form. And you go into the gym and you're trying to scratch out 1 more rep than last time, 2 more reps than last time. And if you get to your goal, then you add weight. This is auto-regulated progression. When you hit a goal or a target safely, then you add weight. You're not forcing the weight. One of the big problems with linear progression, and this isn't linear periodization, that's established at linear progression, is that The end goal is to get your reps in with a specific weight, and a lot of times it's at the cost of form, so things can get sloppy on the last couple of workouts when you're really pushing things to the limit. Now, one of the benefits of auto-regulated progression or pushing a set to the limit is that you start to recruit a maximal amount of muscle fibers. This is great for long-term muscle building. This is great for long-term strength building. What do I mean? Well, if you're doing a set of 135 by 10 on the bench press, the first 2 reps are easy. Doesn't matter what the weight is. The first 2 reps feel easy in comparison to the last few reps. The reason is you're not fatigued yet, but the deeper into a set you go, the more muscle fibers you're recruiting. The body has a reason to recruit a maximal amount of muscle fibers because you're starting to fatigue, and the body needs to pull in every possible resource to push that weight. So one of the benefits of progressive overload or auto-regulated progressive overload is that you're pushing sets to the limit, you're recruiting a maximal amount of muscle fibers, and this will help you maximize the muscle building process. It's something Arnold believed in. It's kind of a lost art, but again, this has to be done safely, only using good form. Now, I prefer this method of progression because it forces people to get into the gym and attack every set. One of the biggest problems in the gym with guys that aren't getting results is they look for a way not to progress, or they don't have a goal for a specific set. Now, my method of auto-regulated progression isn't the only way. It isn't a magic way, but what it does is force you to get in the gym and think about your set. And if you are looking for a way out or looking for a way not to push that set, then the only reason you're not building muscle is because of the reflection in the mirror, the person in the mirror. You need to have goals on every set. You need to have goals on every workout. That is the essence of progressive overload. If you go into the gym without a goal, if you go into the gym with no goal at all, then progressive overload isn't in the mix, or it's not maximized. So that is really the heart of progression. We can debate whether auto-regulated, is the best method, or the 20 other methods are the best method. At the end of the day, over the long run, it's not going to matter. The key is to have a goal on every damn set for every workout. And really, the problem, again, with most people that aren't building muscle is they cop out, or they don't stick to this goal, or they look for excuses, or the weight felt heavy today, I have to reset and go back, or I had a bad workout, this means I need to reset. Stop all that nonsense. Bad workouts happen. Continue to push. So the question was progressive overload. What? Well, we established what it is. It's important to continue to challenge your body in new ways. When every damn set, every damn workout needs to have a goal, and how we've established a couple simple methods. Now, once you have reached a decent level of strength as an intermediate, you can start to beat up your body pushing every set to the limit. What I do at this point as an early intermediate or intermediate is I recommend only pushing the last set for as many reps as possible. This way you're still progressing, and you're using a lot heavier weight, but the metering stick is the last set. So let's say you're doing bench press and you've built your bench press up to 185 for 3 sets of 10. At this point, we might just push the last set for as many reps as possible, and I'll tell people, when you get to 12 reps on that last set, then add weight. So you'll do 10 reps, and then push the last set for as many reps as possible. This is a good approach for intermediates because you're getting in a good amount of volume and you're only pushing the last set to the limit. You've already built a decent amount of muscle. You've already built a decent amount of strength. At this point, we have to balance the intensity or pushing sets to the limit with the long run, trying to squeak out the last bit of gains, the last second half of your gains, while keeping your body healthy and getting in a reasonable volume. So this is a good way to do it. Now, If here's a good way to think of progressive overload. You think of the pressure on this can. If you just put this pressure on this can, and that's all you ever put, it's going to be strengthened to hold that weight. And obviously a can's not going to be adaptive, so this is a very bad way to look at things. But think of this as the human body. If you put a pressure on it, the body's going to strengthen to handle that pressure. If you don't put any additional pressure on that body, the body has no reason to strengthen itself further. But if you continue over time to slowly increase the pressure, the downward pressure you're putting on that body, and the downward pressure can be your volume, your sets and reps and weight. That's the downward pressure. If you increase that slightly every workout, this body has to adapt to that pressure by getting bigger, by getting stronger. And that is what progressive overload is. If you think you can build weights without some form of progressive overload, you are wrong. Now, progressive overload will always involve the addition of strength over time. You can add a set, and that is progressive overload, but the body will adapt to that set very shortly. We have to look at the variables we add and how quickly the body will adapt. You can add 2 reps to a set, but if that's all you ever add, in 3 to 4 weeks, the body will adapt. You can add drop sets at the end of a set, but if you don't add weight, the body will adapt in 3 or 4 weeks time or something like that. So we can get fancy, we can add variables, we can add all this kind of happy horse shit, but unless we add weight over time or an additional volume consistently, unless we're adding some consistent pressure over time, we're not going to build muscle. The short-term additions, adding a set, adding a rep, adding drop sets, limiting rest in between sets, that's effective for a very short period of time because it's a new stimulus. It's a new way of overloading the body by reducing rest, by adding volume, etc. But it has to be continual. You have to find a continual way to do that. If you never want to add weight, you're going to have to get super creative and reduce rest in between sets to the ridiculous and add a ridiculous amount of volume. And it's just, it's not going to work in a long-term plan. It's just not going to work. It's not the most efficient way. It's not the most effective way. And I would argue that it's not really going to do much at all. So progressive overload is the stress that is being placed on the body, the pressure. And if you just keep that pressure steady, the body's only going to adapt to that pressure and it's not going to get any bigger. You have to continue to push and add slowly each week, one way or the other, while remaining healthy. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.